Vampire Stream, B1 Network, late shift. B1 brother, mother, son, late shift, man. I got you. They said I'm better than what's that shit called? Melatonin. Yeah, I'm better than melatonin, so I've heard. So I got you. Don't you even worry about a thing. I got you, man. Well, it still look like my dog face ain't coming all the way up though. That's annoying. It look like it got like a ring around his face or something. Let me see. Ah, nah, that nigga cool. He got a little ring around his little face, but that nigga be alright. On Bark First Network, dog walking people. That's fucked up. So the last time I was on here like this, it was making myself available. Now I don't care if somebody joins or not. And this shit is really crazy too, though. I got you. Hold on, where is it? Vampire Stream. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. This freaking petition is crazy. I got to read the language of it. It's only about 1,300 to send a message, but yeah, they pushing though. With the rise in violence against women, specifically African American women, YouTuber Kevin Samuels has galvanized the community of men of all races and nationalities in the outspoken hatred of women, removing this voice of divisive vitriol will allow women to feel safer not only in public spaces but in online communities as well. Freedom of speech is a constitutional right for each of us. However, when that speech is loaded with thoughts and threats of violence towards women, manipulation of young women, and even fantasies of death to women, that freedom of speech becomes a prison for all people. Those thoughts and desires are intended to isolate. Acts of violence, sexually predatory behavior, and even death has been documented as stemming from rhetoric Mr. Samuels and his community of followers has spewed in just the last 12 months alone. Women feel unsafe in the presence of men who identify with his ideology and have been berated while going about their daily lives, yes, even at work, with criticisms that have been spoken directly from Mr. Samuel's mouth. The very words that were spoken on social media platforms have permeated every facet of daily life for unsuspecting women. Removing this leader of hatred against women will bring reprieve for all of us. See, the last time I was on there, I didn't even get to the updates. So they had an update here on New Year's. So they got a whole video on this one. Black men destroy their own image. from their own mouths. I know that
Own
feeling.
experience, but other experience of other men, men in my family.
So many black men wonder why their reputation is in shambles. They wonder why the world sees them as they do. They wonder what have they done to be looked upon in the ways that they are. But what we learned last week is that men like Ray J. Black are similar to all black men. And how did we learn this? Black men taught us this. We paid attention to their words, and they told us exactly who they are. Now, some of you may be familiar with Ray J. Black, but for those of you who aren't, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was a 42-year-old African American male who was upset with his ex wife and his current girlfriend over arguments they were having, disputes with child custody with the ex wife, and things that the current girlfriend was saying that he didn't like. He decided to take them all out. He went to the ex girlfriend's house, kicked in her door, and shot her in the head. He then drove with the same children he was fighting a custody battle over in the back seat of his car to their mom's house, knocked on her door, chased her down the hallway, and shot her too in the head. He then turned the gun on himself and took himself out. Meanwhile, the children that he supposedly cared about were left in a running car in the parking lot in Baltimore, of all places. And what do you think happened when black men heard of this story? Do you think they condemned his behavior? Do you think they admonished him, held him accountable and responsible for the decisions that he made and the actions that he took? Of course not. Black men, you defended Ray J. Black and all that he did. You then turned around and justified what he did. You excused what he did. You supported what he did. Most importantly, you saw yourself as he. You were too afraid to call your brother out on what was obviously an insanely disgusting behavior. So now, Ray J. Black, it's you, and you are he. At least that's how the world sees it. Now, you'll all chime in on this video and say, not all of us, but collectively, you agreed. Collectively, you condoned what he did.
And maybe he did say some crazy shit, but he never, I don't know that he actually did anything to any other women. So I think that at least has to be said. Um, right or wrong, evil or not, he attacked the women that were attacking him.
Pounding on the fucking door. Yes, I did. You goddamn women play these fucking games with men. You put your lives in danger. Yes, you do. I'm telling you, I'm a little nigga. If I could have got in that house, I would have ended everybody's life except my children's with my bare hands. Every fucking one of them. And I've told them this. I was going to kill you that day.
Like, are you going to tell me that's why that happened? Like, there's some deeper issues going on. And if we're really going to talk about how to solve the problem, you have to talk about the deeper issues. Because, like, if you have to give men some kind of viable option, something that leaves them like honor and dignity too. And that's something that nobody really talks about in that whole thing. Like, it's fucking dishonorable. Like, do the black community, men in general, like, maybe need to have this conversation, but like this whole issue of like, he got dishonored. And that's why I kind of refer to it as an honor killing. Like, what are men supposed to do before they like snap? Can you give men better options in this situation beyond just like go get therapy? Because like, I think it's not so much the weakness of men that is the problem per se. Like, every man is weak in some way, and every man will get pushed to a point if you continue to push him to it. But like, can we actually do something about problems other than just, you know, criticizing the weakness that all men will eventually succumb to?
Well, I'm gonna say, I don't think this is about me and Snap or anything like that. If you take my kids, y'all listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. If you take my kids, I'm gonna kill you. There's nothing about this that sounds crazy to me at all. If you take my kids, I'm going to kill you, because that's what I'm gonna do for my kids. I don't understand why this is a thought that this is not supposed to happen. The woman tried to basically legally kidnap his children, and that's what the whole point of saying that the children were being molested and things like that. She was trying to kidnap his kids through a legal loophole.
Court system. He murdered people. I get it. He's a fucking murderer. I get it. What I'm telling you is that it's my opinion that he would be at work today if the system was fair for men.
Let's take a listen to who this Ray J Black guy actually was.
Jay-Z scoured court records and obtained protective orders Wendy Black had filed against him, the most recent last year. She wrote, "He threatened to kill me with a gun. He has pushed, shoved, threatened, and bit me in the past. I am afraid of him and his anger and do not want him to know where I live. He has access to weapons." She also says he is suicidal. In another order, she says he told her, "I'm coming for you." She wrote, "I am terrified because I do not know what he's capable of. I do not feel that I am safe. I feel that my life is in danger." The protective orders were denied.
Tara dated him since 8/20/20, and they recently broke up with him. Exactly 1 week prior to her death, Tara became aware that he as in Ray J Black, he installed a hidden camera in her bedroom's fire alarm. So there was a hidden camera that she found in her bedroom fire alarm. She filed a police report about the incidents, and she cut contact with him, blocking him on her phone and social media. He then started emailing to get through to her. He started reaching out to her friends, hoping to get them to side with him. Just a few days prior to her murder, Tara got off work at 11 p.m. She had an uneasy feeling. She drove around her home and spotted his car. She texted him to leave. He came up to her window, banging on it, demanding to speak with her. Tara told him to leave her alone or she would call the cops. She dialed 911. The dispatcher even said, "Oh, I can hear him." Police were on the scene shortly after and took statements from both parties. The officers took it as just a disagreement and let him go. The officer handed Tara a card with a number for filing a protective order. Tara was finally seeing who he was, but we would never know till it was too late how dangerous he really was. Her life was cut short, gone too soon at the age of 41.
Now, rest assured, this wasn't due to racism. There's no white supremacy in effect here to make America see the Black male as Ray J Black. The Black male identified, defended, condoned, and empathized with Ray J Black, and even identified with him. Now, the good Black men are going to have to take responsibility here as well. It's because of your silence, your passive participation, that the Black image is what it is. Until you stand up, put your foot down, and get your brothers in check, the world will continue to see you all as murderous monsters who have no empathy, no care, no concern, no value for the lives of your women, your children, and even yourself. The choice is yours. And as of now, this is the choice you guys have made collectively.
Wow. So that was her New Year's update. That's crazy. She brought that little that drill together. She brought that little video together. So I was on the petition. I was just like, wow, this there's so much more on the petition than just, signing it and moving forward. I actually read it, and I saw that she had even posted a couple of updates. That was one. I remember mentioning it last time, but I didn't actually come back and look at them. So here's the remarkable thing. So let's take this campaign to the next level. Hi all, I just wanted to reach out, let you know we've just passed 32,000 signatures on our petition. Thank you so much for your support. Will you help me get more support by sharing this petition with 10 other people? And so that was 7 months ago. So that was the last year sometime when they were at 32. It really didn't start picking up a lot of speed until that nigga died. And that's when it was like hundreds a day. I was like, wow. But even by then, I was way too late. Because the stories that she's speaking on, these can continue to happen anyway. Vampire Stream. You remember when the petition started? Like, I think I heard that case shared on the news, but not as one individual story. So that's where it was a bit hard for me at. Jeez. And then every once in a while, I still hear like some of the younger women in the chat who actually join the panels. They still sound like they want to entertain these niggas. I'm like, how? Out of everything you keep hearing and seeing. Anyway. It's almost like they still don't believe it. Where my dog face at, man? They got me with the there we go. Back on deck. I don't know what it is that makes these deaths so hard to accept for niggas in America. It's one thing to see the destruction of black male bodies on TV, but it's another to hear so many black male voices themselves, and the destruction that they would like to see would be the black woman. You get one George Floyd, but we still end up with tens of thousands of niggas who believe that it shouldn't have been George Floyd. It should have been Breonna Taylor. Like, what? These motherfuckers could give more shits. Like me calling that nigga whatever he is. He's a dead man. Vampire Streams.